There is a slimy little green vegetable sitting in kitchens all over the country right now, maybe even in yours, that tightens the skin on your face better than a $200 syringe of Botox. No needles, no clinic, no frozen, waxy expression staring back at you afterward. Just this humble green pod that most people boil, complain about the texture, and never think about again. And I know exactly how that sounds. Believe me, when I first read the research on this, I rolled my eyes too. I thought, oh, here we go, another kitchen miracle. So let me be very honest with you from the very first second, because I'm a physician and I'm not going to insult you. This is not going to erase 30 years overnight. Nothing does. If anyone ever promises you that, close the video. They are lying to your face. But what this vegetable actually does for firmness, for that tight, lifted feeling along the jaw, along the cheeks, the part of aging that bothers people the most, that part is real enough that people started calling it, half as a joke, green Botox. And by the time we're done here, you're going to understand exactly why it works and, more importantly, exactly how to use it. Because, and this is the part nobody tells you, using it the wrong way does almost nothing. Using it the right way is a completely different story. So stay with me. Because first, I have to show you something about your own face that most doctors never take the time to explain. And once you see it, you're never going to look in the mirror the same way again. Go find a mirror. Really, I'll wait. Or just picture yourself in one. And I want you to stop looking at your wrinkles for a second. Forget the lines. Look at the shape. Look at the edge of your jaw. Look at your cheeks. That little area right beside your mouth. Notice how the whole thing has sort of softened, drifted down. There's a heaviness now that wasn't there at 40. And here's the cruel part. You can sleep 8 hours, you can drink your water, and you still wake up looking tired. Because it was never really about being tired. Let me back up because this matters. For years, we blamed everything on wrinkles. Buy the cream, fill in the lines, chase the wrinkles. But wrinkles were never the thing making you look older. I'll say that again, slower, because it took me a long time in practice to fully accept it myself. The wrinkles are not the problem. The problem is firmness. It's the scaffolding underneath. Think of your skin like a trampoline. When you're young, that trampoline is pulled tight. Bounce something on it, it snaps right back. That snap back, that's firmness. That's a protein called collagen and another one called elastin, woven underneath your skin in a dense, springy net. And when that net is tight, light hits your face and just glows. It bounces. That's what we read as young, not the absence of lines, the bounce. And then, somewhere after 50, and it accelerates fast after menopause, that net starts to loosen. The springs get lazy. Estrogen drops, and estrogen was one of the main things telling your body to keep making collagen, so production falls off a cliff. Studies suggest we lose roughly 1% of our collagen every single year after our 20s. And then a woman can lose up to 30% of her skin's collagen in just the first 5 years after menopause. 30% in 5 years. That's not a wrinkle. That's the trampoline going slack. That's the whole face quietly deflating and slipping down a millimeter at a time. Let me tell you about one of my patients before we go further. I'll call her Eleanor. She wouldn't mind. 71 years old, sharp as a tack. And she didn't come to me about her health. Not really. She came in almost embarrassed, and she finally said it. She had stopped recognizing herself in photographs. It wasn't the wrinkles. She'd long made her peace with those. It was the heaviness. The way her jaw had, in her own word, melted. She'd bought the creams, the whole shelf of them. She'd priced out the fillers, sat in the consultation, and walked right back out because the number frightened her. And honestly, I don't blame her one bit. So I told her about the okra, and she gave me the exact look you are probably giving your screen right now. That come on doctor look. But she was stubborn, and this is the whole thing, she was consistent. About 2 months later, she sent me a photo. No makeup, plain morning light, and the edge of her jaw had come back. Not 20 years younger, I promised you I wouldn't lie to you, but firmer, lifted, awake. And underneath the photo, she wrote one line, "I look like myself again." And that right there is the entire reason I sit down and make these videos. Now, let me get back to it because you deserve to understand why this works and the creams don't. And That is exactly why the creams let you down. I want to be gentle about this because I know some of you have spent real money, good money, on beautiful little jars. But most of a cream sits on the top layer of your skin. That top layer is basically dead cells. It's a shingled roof. It's protective, it's important, but the collagen you actually need help with is living, and it's built way down in the deeper layer, the dermis. A heavy molecule sitting on the roof cannot go down and reweave the net in the basement. It just can't. The physics don't work. So the cream makes the surface feel nice and soft for an afternoon, and the trampoline underneath stays exactly as slack as it was. Now, so just get Botox, doctor, right? And look, I'm not against it. I've referred patients for it. But I need you to understand what it does, because most people have it completely backwards. Botox does not tighten anything. Botox freezes a muscle so it stops creasing the skin. It's a fantastic eraser for one specific line, the frown between the brows, the crow's feet. But for firmness, for that soft, sliding, deflated feeling, it does nothing. And the fillers that do add a little lift, those are needles in your face every few months at hundreds of dollars a visit, with real risk if the hand holding the needle isn't perfect. That's a lot of money and a lot of nerve to rent a result that leaves the second you stop paying. So the real question, the only question that matters, is this. What can actually reach down into that deeper layer and help the body reweave its own net? What supports collagen from the inside and grips the surface from the outside at the same time? For years, honestly, my answer was not much you can do at the drugstore. And then I started paying attention to this one green vegetable, and I have to tell you, it kind of embarrassed me how simple it was. It's okra. Okra, the lady's fingers, the green pod your grandmother put in soup, the one everybody makes fun of for being slimy. That slime, that exact thing people can't stand, that is the whole secret. Let me explain, because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Cut open an okra pod and you get this clear, glossy gel. Scientists call it mucilage. It's a web of long sugar molecules, polysaccharides, and it behaves almost exactly like the hyaluronic acid they sell you in the expensive serums, the stuff that grabs water and holds it. When you put that gel on your skin, two things happen at once, and this is the part I love. One, it pulls moisture into the surface and plumps it, so fine lines soften almost immediately and the skin looks fuller. And two, as that gel dries, it forms a thin, invisible film that physically tightens across the surface. You can feel it. It's a gentle, lifted, my face is awake sensation. That's the instant part. That's the green Botox nickname right there. A temporary, needle-free tightening film. And here's a small detail I find beautiful. That gel is made of very small, water-loving molecules, so unlike the heavy creams, it actually sinks into and clings to the surface layer, instead of just sitting on top like grease. It works with your skin's own water, not against it. That's why it feels so different the first time, lighter and yet tighter at the same time. But the instant tightening isn't even the real prize. Here's the real prize. Okra is quietly loaded with vitamin C, and vitamin C is not a nice to have for your skin, it is the non-negotiable spark plug for making collagen. Your body physically cannot assemble a single new collagen fiber without it. So while the gel is gripping and hydrating the surface today, the vitamin C is feeding the machinery deep down that rebuilds the net over the weeks. And it doesn't stop there. Okra carries vitamin K, folate, and a load of antioxidants, flavonoids, that go after the free radicals that chew through collagen in the first place. So you're feeding the factory and calling off the wrecking crew in the same green pod. Do you see why I couldn't ignore this anymore? And I know what a few of you are thinking, because I thought it too. If this is real, why has no one told me? Why isn't this on every magazine cover? And I'll give you the honest, slightly uncomfortable answer. It's because there is no money in it. Nobody can patent a vegetable. There's no $200 syringe, no beautiful jar with a French name, no clinic visit to bill. A pod of okra costs pennies, and pennies don't buy advertising. That's not a conspiracy, it's just how attention gets bought. The quiet, cheap thing that actually works doesn't get a billboard, it gets passed, grandmother to granddaughter, in kitchens. And today, it gets passed to you. Okay, deep breath, because I can feel some of you getting excited and I need to slow us both down, because this is exactly where people ruin it. They hear okra is good for skin, they eat a little more okra in their soup, they feel nothing in a week, and they quit. And that breaks my heart because they were this close. The magic is not in eating a random amount of it. The magic is in a specific little routine, a way of getting the gel onto your skin and the vitamin C into your body at the same time, and doing it consistently. And the amounts matter. Too little gel and it doesn't grip. Too watery and it just runs off. And before I even show you the routine, let me save you from the 3 quiet mistakes, because these are the reasons people tell me, I tried okra, it did nothing. Mistake 1, they cook it. They boil the pods to death, and heat destroys most of the vitamin C and breaks down the gel. The whole point is the raw, fresh gel. Cooked okra on your dinner plate is lovely, but it is not this. Mistake 2, they use it once, feel the tightening, get excited, and then forget about it for a week. This is not a one-night thing. The film is instant, yes, but the firmness underneath is built by repetition. A little often is everything, and a lot once is almost nothing. And mistake 3, the sneaky one. They put the gel on and rinse it off 2 minutes later like it's a hand soap. It needs time to sit and to dry into that tightening film. And there's one small step, that makes it grip nearly twice as well, and I've got that on the page I'm about to show you. Avoid those 3 and you're already ahead of almost everyone who's ever tried this. So let me walk you through the shape of it and then pay very, very close attention. I'm going to show you the exact protocol on screen laid out step by step, because this is the part you're going to want to keep. It really comes down to 2 simple pieces. Piece 1 is what I call okra water, and it's what you drink. You take a few fresh pods, you slice them, and you let them sit in room temperature water overnight, and by morning the water has gone silky and slightly thick, because the gel and the vitamin C have released right into it. You drink that on an empty stomach. That's your collagen fuel, going in from the inside first thing. Piece 2 is the okra gel, and that's what goes on your face. The fresh, cool gel from the pod, applied like a mask a few nights a week, left on, then rinsed. That's the grip and the hydration from the outside. Inside and outside at the same time. That combination, that's the whole thing. That's what people are calling green Botox. Now please, please pay attention to this next part, because this single image is probably the most important thing in the entire video. I want you to actually stop scrolling and look at this. Look at this. This is the full firmness protocol, the whole thing on one page. On the left, you've got the okra water. How many pods, how much water, exactly how long it sits, and when to drink it. In the middle, the okra gel. How to get the gel out, how thick to spread it, how long to leave it on your face, how many nights a week, and the one step almost everyone skips that makes it grip twice as well. And on the right, look at the right side. That's the timeline. So you know what's actually normal to feel, because I don't ever want you guessing. See it? Day 1 to 3, you feel that first tightening after the gel. That's the film. By week 2 to 3, the surface looks smoother, more hydrated, more awake. That's the water content climbing. And by week 6 to 8, that's when the deeper firmness starts. Along the jaw, the cheeks, that's the new collagen. And that one is slow, because real rebuilding is always slow. Anything faster than that is a trick of the light or a trick on your wallet. Are you seeing how much is on this one page? The amounts, the timing, the sequence, the little tricks. This is a real protocol, not a vague, eat more vegetables. Take a screenshot of this right now if you have to, I mean it, because this is the difference between it working and it doing nothing. And honestly, I should just be straight with you about this. This page you're looking at, this is one page. This is a single page I pulled out of the complete guide, the one I put together for my patients who couldn't keep coming into the office. The full version has the exact measurements written out so you never have to guess. The version for sensitive and rosacea-prone skin, the foods to eat alongside it so the collagen actually has bricks to build with, and the mistakes that quietly cancel the whole thing out. If you want the complete guide, I'll leave it for you. It's in the description below this video. And if you're watching on your phone, you can just point your camera at the little code on the screen and it'll take you straight there. No pressure at all. The page in front of you already works, but the rest of it is there if you want your hand held through the whole thing. Okay, I said I'd be honest with you, so let me be honest about who this is not for, and about doing it safely. Because a good doctor tells you the risks, not just the good part. Okra is food, it's about as safe as it gets, but your skin is your skin. So before you ever put the gel on your face, do a patch test. A little dab on the inside of your wrist, Wait a full day, make sure there's no redness or itch. If you're allergic to okra, obviously don't. And this next thing is important, and I mean it. This is a firmness and hydration routine. It is not a treatment for a disease. If you have a real skin condition, if you're on medication, if something on your skin is changing or bleeding or growing, that is a conversation with your own doctor, in person, not a green pod. Please hear me on that. And expectations, let's keep them honest, because honest expectations are what keep you from quitting right before it works. The hydration and that first tightening, you'll probably feel those in the first week or two, and that's lovely. That's your early motivation. Hold on to it. But the firmness, the real, deeper firmness, the thing you actually came here for, that is a 6 to 8 week conversation, minimum, and it rewards the person who just quietly keeps going. The people who see the results everyone envies are never the ones who did something dramatic once. They're the ones who did the small, simple thing consistently while everyone else quit in week 2. Now, one more thing, and then I'll let you go. There is a variation of this okra routine that works even better for a very specific kind of skin, the thin, crepey, papery skin, the kind you see first on the backs of the hands and along the neck, where the pods alone aren't quite enough and you need to pair them with one particular oil to lock everything in overnight. That version is genuinely powerful, but it's a little different, and I didn't want to muddy up the main routine here and confuse everyone. So I wrote out exactly how to do it, which oil, how much, and when, and I left it for you down in the description, right at the top, so you can find it in 2 seconds. Go read that after this. If crepey skin is your battle, that variation is the one you want. But whether you go get the full guide or not, please just start tonight. Buy the pods on your next trip to the store. They cost almost nothing, and slice a few into a glass of water before you go to bed. That's it. That's the entire first step, and it costs you about $1.30. The woman who looks incredible at 70 is not lucky, and she's not rich. Half the time she just knew one quiet little secret, and she was disciplined enough to actually do it. Now you know the secret too. So go do it, not tomorrow, not when things settle down, tonight, with 1 glass of water and a few pods. Firmness isn't bought back in a single dramatic afternoon. It's earned in these small, boring, faithful little steps, the ones nobody sees, the ones that quietly add up until one morning you catch yourself in the mirror and think, wait, there I am. And listen, if this okra surprised you, wait until you hear about the one green leaf, the one hiding in most gardens, that does for the deep brown spots on your hands and cheeks what this pod does for firmness. That one genuinely stunned me when I found the research, but that's a story for the next video. So take care of that beautiful face of yours, do your patch test, start tonight, and I will see you very soon. Take care.